Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rally Caps, a podcast for the creative entrepreneur building a business for the long haul.
Hailing from down under, our Australian guest from Melbourne, Jai Long is a worldwide household name in the wedding photography realm, decorated as a rangefinder 30 rising star. He now coaches other wedding photographers to find success in their photography business with his signature business map, online summits, and unmatched internet presence. He's been featured on Forbes. He runs an ethical and vegan clothing line, and he can immediately be recognized by his signature Jai haircut. Now that he's best friends with Gary Vaynerchuk, he's ready to start 5 new businesses and take over the world.
Is all of that true, Jai?
Well, you make it sound good. That's the good thing, you know?
I'd say that one's pretty accurate. I think all of that's very true. We kind of inflate them sometimes, but that one's pretty true.
You know, like what I do a lot of the times is I deflate, because so many times like people don't think it's believable. It's like you're just doing too many things. So if you just start listing up all the things, it's like, well, it's not even true. So I just pretend I don't do anything. Yeah, I've got just a podcast and I just do a few little things on the side.
Yeah, we missed a handful of things. Rattle off. What else? You have podcast. You have a strong Instagram presence. Always
a fantastic
promoting.
podcast also.
Yeah.
It's like...
I can't even tell you because I can't even remember. I only focus on one thing at a time. And right now I'm working on my summit and that's taken all my attention. So I can't even remember everything else I've ever done.
I love that answer. Okay, we're going to get into the summit towards the end. But first we wanted to open up, we love giving that intro, those kinds of intros, because it feels like most podcasts are just like, all right, tell us all about yourself, and we want to actually
That's
do something.
That's what my podcast does. You're just throwing stones, I reckon.
just fighting words right off the bat. I had the pleasure of being on your podcast, and you even touched a bit about, and you share this online quite a bit, about growing up in poverty. I just want to kind of let people know that that's your background just from the get-go, and then just ask you how that story, as much as you want to share, has affected you personally as a businessman, and then after that, kind of how it sculpted you as an educator and bringing other people up as well.
Cool. So am I just sharing right now?
Yeah, real deep, real quick.
I'm just sharing. So I think, Eric, you kind of touched on some truth right there. I think a lot of the times we look at someone from an online presence, or we admire someone, and a lot of the times we can think that they were just handed everything, and it's like, it's easy for that person, but what about me? It's easy for Jai because he's got a good haircut, but what about me? And I think a lot of the times we don't realize, the people that really succeed in business, in life and everything, they're usually the underdogs. They're usually the relentless people that grew up with nothing and they've got nothing to lose and a lot to gain. And it's the reason why they can take big risks. It's the reason why they push harder than everybody else. It's the reason why they're more hungry. I think to appreciate anything in life and to want more, you've got to have gone through some sort of pain, because when you go through a bit of pain, you don't want to go back to that. And I think a lot of the times, people like yourself doing all these incredible things, you identify this opportunity that you're like, man, I'm not wasting this. I'm not waking up today and wasting a second of this. For me, I sound like an old person when I say this, but I still every day mind blown that I'm allowed to post on social media with no rules. I'm allowed to broadcast myself. I'm allowed to be the media. I'm allowed to, don't have to pay for advertising. And I can broadcast myself to everywhere, anywhere on the planet all the time. And so I do. And that's, like you said before, you got like an online presence. And I'm like, man, we all have the online presence. We all have the opportunity. Some people see the opportunity for what it is, and some people are scared of it, or they're not in the same place where they want to push as hard as someone else. So yeah, I definitely grew up totally poor. Absolutely. We grew up in government housing, been homeless twice before. We were the kids, I was the kid that was, for Christmas, we would have handouts at charities. We'd be lining up for that kind of stuff. And for me, the big driving factor was there was a lot of fights in my household, a lot of domestic violence and things like that. And it came down to money, because my family was uneducated. We just didn't know. And we thought we were unlucky. We weren't the chosen ones. We weren't the cream of the crop in society and all this kind of stuff. And I think, especially my dad, he'd probably feel entitled and played the blame game a lot. And what I realized was, man, I'm not special enough for anyone to give me opportunities. for anything just to happen for me. And if I want a door to open, I'm going to have to knock on the door. I'm going to have to open the doors myself. And I think with that relentlessness, it's just changed my perspective on money. It made money really easy because I studied it. It made opportunities really easy because I go get my own opportunities. I was thinking about this morning. I was talking on Clubhouse, and I think a lot of people, we hate talking about success because it's the same as we don't like to talk about money. It feels like it's ego. It feels like something, dirty to talk about. But really, like when you're poor, you literally imagine what it'd be like to win the lottery. And then that only can happen if you wish and hope. And we forget that we can actually all have these massive, abundant opportunities if we put ourselves in the right room with the right opportunity, if we equip ourselves with the right knowledge, if we get to work. Because if you get to work, you're putting yourself in the way of the success that you're looking for. And it doesn't even come down to luck and wishing and hoping, but the more that you work and put yourself in the way, funny enough, the more lucky you become. So that's been my life up to now. And it's still the same. I'm still the underdog. I'm still the person that's, trying to hit goals. I'm still got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And that's how I live my life. And that's why I'm able to probably push harder than anybody else.
Epic. Dude, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. You certainly have kicked down a lot of doors, it seems. And you've done all of those things and those opened up those opportunities really well. It seems like everything that you touch, you just do it in a really excellent way. We've kind of touched on this in the intro. You're doing a lot of stuff and you have your hands in a lot of different jars. If you had to pick one thing that you're most excited about right now, what would that be?
Oh man, dang it. Like the thing is, I'm so excited about everything that I wouldn't do anything if I wasn't excited about it, right? Yeah. Like literally I light up if we talk about any of my projects, and that's how I gauge whether I should pursue it or not, because I'm not the type of person that likes to do something that's half-assed, pretty crappy, don't believe in it. Like I only do things that just light me up and I'm like, man, I'm so passionate about this, right? But right now it really is my course, the business map, because I just hired we got a full-time designer, full-time copywriter and a copywriter coach inside that course. And we're just taking it to another level. I'm just insanely proud of what we're making right now. Like I thought I was proud last year when we made it, but I realize now how shitty it was compared to the output we're putting in now. Wow. And it pushes me as a human, man, to learn how to communicate with people, meet them where they're at. So unlock their glass ceilings, their limiting beliefs, seeing the results that they're getting. It blows my mind, and nothing makes my heart as full as what the impact I am making over there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many questions. You went from, what was your step from zero? Like you were at zero. What was the first thing? You jumped into elopement photography, wedding photography first?
So zero as in my wedding photography business, or just in
life?
Just
from like in entrepreneurship, like when you started doing some sort of hustle.
And so I quit my job when I was like 15. I'll tell you the first hustle I ever did, right? Yeah. So I quit school, right? I quit school, and everyone was saying like, you're crazy, like 15, 16, like no one's going to give you a job. There's no jobs in this little town. Everyone tell me there's no apprenticeships. There's always like the naysayers that they couldn't find anything themselves. So they're just going to tell me that there is nothing. Anyway, so I quit against popular belief, I quit school because it just wasn't for me. And I got into the phone books and I started cold calling everyone everywhere to get a job. And I wanted an apprenticeship. Anyway, after like maybe a couple of months, and I moved out of home at this stage as well. So I was living in a share house, like a bit of a halfway house with some friends, and we were kind of struggling to make ends meet. And I needed to change my life at this point. I was like, I'm ringing everyone, I'm getting uncomfortable, I don't care. And I heard along the grapevine that there was a new construction site happening in town. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, baby, this is it, right? And so I went over to my mum's house and asked if I could borrow the car. I wasn't old enough to drive yet. My mum didn't care. She's like, yeah, no worries, bring it back tomorrow. Because I said, oh, Mum, I got a new job. Like I'm starting tomorrow. It's changing my life. I can't wait for this. Can I borrow the car? And Mum's like, yeah, no worries. So there I am driving down the road. I had a little bit of money left, so I bought some work boots and like a high-vis shirt. And then the next day at 6 a.m., I found out what time it opened, and I drove up with all the other tradies, parked the car, walked up to the construction site. I was like 4 foot tall, man. I was a tiny kid. And I remember I like knocked on the door. Literally, we're talking about opening doors, like knocking on the door. And then the foreman opened up the door and he's like, hey, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm here to start my new job. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, whatever it is, I'm here. I'm on time. I got my boots on. I'm here. I got a car. I got a license. Like, he's like, how old are you? I was like, 18. You know, I can do this. And so he was so thrown by my ambition, and he was like, yeah, well, we always need another site laborer, so you're on. And he put me on $15 an hour, which is $600 a week at that age. And I hit it big. I was like, I am rich. I went home that afternoon. I told all my friends, I was like, boys, I'm getting paid $15 an hour. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're the richest person we know. I went out and bought a TV, for the house. But one of the problems was with that job, because I lied and I said that I had a car. One of my jobs was to drive and get everyone lunch every day. So I had to go get 50 orders of lunch, and I had a phone book underneath on the chair to drive the car. And I had to make sure that no one was seeing me, and I had to borrow my mum's car every day, and she was devastated because she had no car. And that went on for about 6 months. But from there, I was going around hustling everyone. Like, hey, do you need an apprentice? And I was talking to every single tradie, and they're like, no, Jai, you asked me yesterday. We don't need one today. We need one tomorrow. And the next day, hey, do you need an apprentice? Every day, until one person was like, all right, you just don't stop. If you can come and do some gardening at my house, we'll get you on some tools. And I was like, I'll do it this weekend. Let's do this. And anyway, that didn't work out, but I kept ringing. And then I found out there was an electrician that might be looking for a tradie. And then, so I quit my job right there. And then I drove straight over to his house, knocked on the door, didn't know the guy. And I was like, I'm here to start my apprenticeship. Let's do this. And then he was kind of thrown back by it. But I was like, if I just burn the bridges, if I just go straight in on this, I have to get it. I told him I just quit my job half an hour ago and I'm ready to start this job. It was a big pay cut, obviously. I think I was getting $4.90 an hour from this one, and so I was living at home and stuff. But I worked my butt off, finished my apprenticeship, and then after that, I started my first cafe. And from there, because I saved some money, my apprenticeship, I saved all my money. I bought a car and stuff. And then after my apprenticeship, I went all in, and I was like, I need to start something. And I started a cafe and got my friends to help me and got my family to help me renovate and stuff. And yeah, the rest is history, man. I've been doing businesses ever since. That's when I was about 19, 20.
So I mean, the stereotypical question that I'm sure everybody asks you, where are you getting energy? Where are you getting all of it from? Are you focused on we know with your vegan clothing brand, I assume you're eating vegan as well, or yep. So what kind of physical things are you doing to try to keep these things balanced? What does that look like?
It's an amazing question that no one ever asked. I'm a second generation vegetarian vegan. So that's the first thing. And another thing is all my brothers and sisters, I've got 5 of them to 3 different dads, and they all have so much energy that everyone always says they've never met anyone with as much energy. So I do think it does help with diet for sure. Thinking about your diet, looking after yourself. Obviously, I don't like to put crap in my body because I think of myself as a higher performing machine that needs to sort of keep going. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, man, if you're passionate about what you're doing in life, you can't even sleep. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it comes down to. There's so many people that are just sort of average, mediocre, kind of loving what they're doing, not really, not getting things off the ground, giving up on their dreams, having excuses. And I think if you're in the zone where you're just fuck, every day I'm waking up, man, from the day I remember to today, every night that I go to sleep, I'm so tired that I hit the bed and everyone's always can't believe how fast I fall asleep. And then I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning every day, and I'm so ready to go and make sure that I'm exhausted every single day. So one thing that I know that we all have, every day I've got a bank account full of creativity, full of passion, full of momentum, full of, courage, all this stuff. And I've got to make sure I use it up every day, because tomorrow, if I don't use it up, it's wasted, right? And so a lot of us don't think about that. We only think about what we don't have. I don't have money. I don't have opportunity. And when you realize but you're not using up the things that you do have, and that's why you don't have the things that you don't have. So yeah, that's, for me, it's making sure I'm in the zone where I'm absolutely passionate about what I'm doing all the time. And for me, that it's self-generating. It's just energy that just I can't get tired. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. Eric just touched on the fact that you have a vegan clothing line called No Skin. Could you just elaborate a little bit on what the kind of catalyst was to start a clothing brand?
Yeah, man. So one thing in Melbourne is like really, really trendy to be vegan now. Funny enough,
Hmm.
because it's one of those things that I got, absolutely picked on when I was at school, growing up like that. Like I was always the hippie child, and now it's like the trendy thing. Like let's do what Jai's doing. So one thing is like fashion hasn't caught up. And so if you want to be vegan in Melbourne, there's like a few different vegan brands. And for some reason, if you're vegan, you have to look like a dork. And it kind of kills me. And so I'm just thinking like, what's the disconnect? Why is it like either, you don't mind having animal products in your clothing and looking cool, or if you want to be ethical, you also have to look like an idiot. And so for me, it was just like a no-brainer of like this stuff, like veganism is blowing up and ethical is blowing up. Sustainable is blowing up. Running business from the heart is blowing up. And for me, it's like there's too many companies out there right now doing it for the wrong reasons. And they're trying to blanket it with like sustainable, whatever. Most of it's a lie. And so we're trying to just, instead of complaining about anything, because I hate complaining, I'm like, let's just change it ourselves and let's create awareness. Let's create a product that I would wear. Let's spread it by bringing it out and making it so normal that people don't even know it's vegan. So that's what it's all about.
Whew. Yeah, go check it out. We'll link it down in description and show notes if you guys want to see that and just see what they have to offer. Really epic stuff. Off topic from that, going into another lane of what you do, are you still photographing weddings yourself at a high capacity, or elopements or photography at all?
Dude, I'm literally shooting a wedding straight after this interview. I like fit it in, and I'm going to shoot a wedding, and then I got one tomorrow as well, and then we got a job on Sunday. So right now it's Friday for me. I've got a wedding. As soon as this is finished, I'm charging this battery because I've just got to get some details, and I'm running out the door. So yeah, there's 2 weddings happening in this. In the last like 3 weeks, I've probably shot. I shot a wedding in a hot air balloon. I shot a wedding in the registry. Yeah, probably like 5 weddings in the last 2 weeks.
Stuff.
Yeah, so
it's like a hot air balloon.
Like, in a hot air balloon, yeah, it was
That's
really
amazing.
cool. And I think like too many people think like, oh, if you're going to be an educator and things like that, you can scale back other things. But I do everything as I love things. And there's 2 things on it. I don't think you need to be a busy photographer to be a good coach. And I know a lot of people say like, I would never hire a coach that's not actually doing the weddings, but I actually believe, and now I used to believe that, but now I believe the opposite. I'm like, you need a coach that's not wasting their time shooting weddings, because really, if you want the success that they have, you need them in your corner. And it's kind of like, think about this, right? Like Mike Tyson has a coach. So he's not there boxing just by himself. He's got someone in his corner because he needs to perform at the highest level, like to actually fight. He doesn't want to think about marketing. He doesn't want to think about strategy. He doesn't want to think about anything else. And then so the coach in the corner, he's not out there boxing because he needs to think about that guy's strategy. He needs to be thinking about what's next. What do you got to do? How to market it? How to blow it up? How to get paid more? And I think with a coach, like you need someone that's like in your corner, that's that person for your business. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My mind is just kind of like slowly getting blown like left and right. I'm like, whoa, wait, that's such a good point. Like that's awesome.
I knew that was coming, and like hearing everything that you put out, the intentionality that you put it out, something that really struck a chord in me. I heard you on Clubhouse one day talking about the bank account thing. You'd already mentioned a bit. And that was mind-boggling to me because like, I think I definitely lean more towards, and this could just be because I have 4 kids and I'm like, my risk tolerance is just kind of like, I'm going to err like definitely more on the safer side and having 3 to 6 months of savings, like all that stuff. And yeah, that's definitely my advice to people who are looking after little humans. But like the whole idea of there's still plenty of cash I could be spending out of my account, or like I don't need to aggressively pay off my mortgage as aggressively as I am, and maybe use some of the cash that I'm making with my business to reinvest in different ways. What does like, if you could just expand a bit more on your philosophy of reinvesting money back in, because I look at the content that you put out on Instagram. I look at the font type. I look at the way you're lighting your talking heads and your podcast excerpts and like all these things. I'm just like, that's not one person for sure. That's not one person. Like you are bringing people in, you are paying people. I know you are, I've heard you say it. So yeah, if you could just expand on that philosophy a bit.
you're conditioned from a young age to like line up, wear a uniform, go to work, save for a rainy day, pay off your house in 30 years.
Yeah.
You're going to live the dream, right? American dream. And I think we're so conditioned with that. And it's just it's a slow way that, like, I don't know about your parents, but my parents are not rich from doing that. And all my friends' parents now are struggling to retire because they've been, you know, working a job for 30 years and then let go, and then they don't have savings and all this kind of stuff. And for me, it's like, I don't save for a rainy day because I learn how to make new money. And that's what it's all about. So it's like, instead of trying to hang on to your money, get rid of the money so you can go make new money. And so many of us, like, we run a business and we get so scared of like, oh, but what happens if the bank account goes down a little bit or something? But if you're not reinvesting into what you're doing, like what you believe in, maybe you shouldn't even be doing the thing that you are doing if you won't even go all in on it. And so if you go all in, you're going to blow the thing up, aren't you? Like, if you already believe a little bit that you quit your job, you might as well go all in and throw your cash into it as well, because you're going to give yourself a better chance to blow it up. It's a better story if you fail as well compared to if you just went halfway. So I always just think, like, if you're going to fail, go all the way in there, you know, and then make sure you're doing it properly. But hey, like, too many of us are trying to do everything ourselves because we're trying to dollar and dime, but we're only dollar and dime in our time, and our time is worth more than anything else. And if you want to get, you know, those unrealistic goals hit, if you want to go after your dreams, like, the whole reason of having a business, like, you don't have a business if you are just paying yourself and you've got to show up for it all the time. You just got a shitty job of a shitty boss, and the boss happens to be you. So it's like, why not create opportunities for everybody else? You know, like, why hold it to ourselves and be selfish? You know, I had we're talking today about haters on Clubhouse, and I've got a few haters right now. Like, Jai, he's doing the summit just for money, and he's doing this just for money. And I'm like, man, are you doing wedding photography just for money? Are you hiring people? Because if you're not, you're selfish. Like, you're not even creating opportunities for people around the world. Like, you're not, you know, spreading any love, any wealth, any opportunities. And then you want to throw stones at me. That's like giving out thousands of opportunities to so many people everywhere in so many different ways. So I think, like, we got to stop running business as if we are the perfect person. We do the editing better than everybody else. We do, I don't know, marketing better than everybody else. No one can do my Instagram as good as me. No one can do IGTVs better than me. No one can do whatever it is. And believe, you know what? If you had a team around you, watch your business blow up, because you can like, leverage of other people. I'm not educated. I don't have a career. Like, I don't have a degree. I don't have a specialty in anything, but my staff do, and I hire them, and then they can do the things that I didn't do. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's wow. I'm usually on the side of, like, I'm quicker to think about something and I'm slower to speak. I'm going to try to reverse that right now to keep things kind of flowing a little bit better. So Eric and I actually worked on a little short film recently called Community Over Competition. And it was all about how you succeed so much more when you are working with the people around you and the people that are in your corner. And to kind of go back to your metaphor of Mike Tyson about, you know, everyone kind of has their designated role in a certain thing, like whatever that may be. For those of us who are maybe doing things a little more solo currently and want to expand into a team, what advice would you give to them? Like, what were the first steps that you took when you started to build out a team of people around you for these projects that you're working on?
There's never a good time. You never have enough money. You never have the right opportunities. It just doesn't fall in your lap. And so you need to hire someone so you get more time. You're buying time back. So then you can hire someone and then you can pay them. And then once you do that, you need to do it again and do it again. So it really is about getting uncomfortable, but you can't hire people because we always spend all the money that we always have. And if that wasn't true, we'd all be rich, but we're not, because we all do make good money. So you need to get uncomfortable so you expand yourself. If you realize that you've got someone else's livelihood on the line, you need to show up for them now, not just for yourself. You're going to start acting differently. Your goals are going to be different. Your marketing is going to be different. You're going to show up differently. You're going to be more relentless. You're going to make the money for them. And then you'll realize, like, geez, I'm like, life just got a lot easier. And I don't even know how, but I just made the money because that's how that works. And maybe I can expand and get another person. So I think too many of us, we're trying to wait for the perfect moment, but there ain't no perfect moment. I've never met anyone that's just like, man, the clouds just opened up and the rays of sun just came down and all of a sudden I had all this spare cash and I just hired someone to do all the work that I didn't want to do. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, but Dogecoin, Doge, don't you know?
Dogecoin. I mean, that's like Elon Musk come down on from his rocket, isn't it? Like, thanks, Elon.
Now for an exclusive commercial break from our sponsor, us and our Patreon. Rally Caps has a Patreon. It's only $5 a month. We do extra innings. Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. The baseball metaphor. Extra innings. We do separate conversations after each episode where we break down our real thoughts about what we talked about with guests. And this one with Jai is actually really good. It's really honest. And if you want to hear it, it's just $5 a month for these. Plus, we're going to be doing exclusive drops of stuff. We might even do live chats, live streams in the future. So if you want to be a part of that and a part of maybe even some merch drops or something like that, go check out Patreon. It's just $5 a month, and it'd be supporting us and helping pay Steven for all the hard work that he's doing on editing every single one of these episodes. Check it out. It's linked in the description as well. Now back to the episode. Okay. A good time to transition to this topic. How did you get Gary Vee to come to the summit? And
we have to talk about it.
I want to hear this story.
Have you guys thought about this? Have you asked yourselves?
About how Gary Vee got there?
Yeah.
I haven't.
I have thought about it. Yes.
Yes, I have thought about it.
Okay. It's a really funny thing because not everyone loves this idea, right? And it's funny because you can create, what's really important in marketing is to create something that's so interesting that it gets people thinking about it. It gets the haters to take notice, because it doesn't matter whether you love me or hate me or love Gary Vee or hate him, you know about him. And so that's really what it comes down to. And to get him, it was kind of like at the last summit that we had last year, we kind of broke all our records. We held the biggest wedding photography workshop in the world. And we were just sort of kicking back thinking how can we top what we've already done? And then I was kind of sitting there, I was like having a bit of a joke, and I was like, imagine if we got someone like Gary Vee to come and talk at at something like this. That would be next level, I reckon. Anyway, with my brain, it was a joke, but I was like, what's to say that he can't do that? And why can't I reach out to him? People reach out to me all the time and they got 100 followers. I'm only tiny compared to him. Why can't I reach out to him? And so I did on Instagram and DMs and got nothing back, of course. And then I got thinking about it for a little bit longer, and I was like, nah, this has got to happen. So I did that again. And then I got, he got in touch with me and just said, hey, email my crew and we can have a chat, talk about what's going on there. So I was like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And so how it works is I talk to the Gary Vee team, and then I propose what I'm doing, and then they submit it to him, put it on his desk, and then he looks at it and sees if it's good enough. So it got rejected because one is tickets are $7, so I won't ever be able to afford him. It's a niche market. No one knows who he is. It's too small of an event. So there were so many reasons. And so they got back to me and they gave me a list of speakers that I can afford and I can more realistically get for my summit. And it was all these speakers I never heard of. And so I kind of left it at that. And I was like, man, I don't want to get someone that I've never heard of. What's the point of that, So I got back to him a month later and I was like, look, if I have to get 10 extra jobs, I'll get the money. This summit is going to be huge. I'm putting everything into Facebook advertising. Yes, it's a small community, but these community are amazing and they need outside perspective, and they do know who he is. They love him, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I didn't hear back for a little while. And then they got back to me and they said, hey, Jai, we put it in front of Gary and he said, yep, he will actually do it. So let's sign the contract and make it happen. And then I was just like, yes, never take no,
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And now it's happening. I still don't even believe it though. I've got this scary thought in the back of my head that last minute it's going to, he'll cancel or, something will happen. He just won't show up or something. So don't worry. There's big risk. This is an expensive event to put on. And so if my little Wi-Fi connection here, this little thing that I plug into the wall here in Australia, doesn't hold enough bandwidth to get this streamed out to America. There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of expectations. So the stakes are high and I think the pressure's high, and I'm in front of a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that want to see me fail on a big scale as well. So I think there's a lot at stake, and I love working under that pressure. So I make sure I'm always under that pressure. Here's another thing that I did. So last year we made our money back, right? I think it cost $120,000 or something. I put in tons into Facebook marketing, and with VIP tickets, we actually made our money back. And then this year we're like, let's double the amount of people that are coming. Let's see if we can get 16,000 people. And then to make it really hard for ourselves, let's halve the amount the VIP is. So that way, like if we get the same amount of people, we won't make our money back. But if we get double the amount of people, then we'll still be making our money back. And then we need to work underneath that pressure, because if we don't, we'll just do what we did last year. It worked great, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to like see what we can do, how hard we can push, and see what's possible. So that's what we're doing this year.
Amazing. And your DM to him, was it just text? Was it just?
Yeah, it was like I could have done something else, but I was just like, it's funny because you can DM different people. So I don't know if you know who Grant Cardone is.
Yes.
But he's like a big time guy as well. And I was actually just talking to him on Instagram the other day, and it's funny because these are guys out of my reach, but I was like, I know what will get him over the line, and I want to get him on my podcast. And so I wrote to him, and I wrote to him about something, I think just replying to one of his Insta stories, and then he wrote back, and then I was like, nice, I'm no longer in the requested thing. I'm in the real thing. So I wrote to him saying like, hey Grant, you're not omnipresent yet. And then obviously that was going to get him because he talks about omnipresence. I'm like, because you haven't been on my podcast and my community need to hear you, so you need to be over here. And then he was like, oh, all right, you got me. Like, send me an email, you know? So it's funny because like, man, most people always just say like, hey, you need to be on my podcast. And it's like, that doesn't add value to anyone. And it's not funny. You don't know who it is, and there's no reason. So even, you know, me getting onto this podcast, like it still was me knocking on your door saying like, hey, I've got stuff to share with you and your community. Could be fun. It's going to be good. Like, let's do this. And I make sure that it's not just me taking, it's like, I can give you so much, and I'm letting you know how much I can give you.
Absolutely. That's been yeah.
Go ahead, Steven.
I was going to say, that's been a huge part of the philosophy of ours for pitching guests for Rally Caps. Is like, okay, so how can we understand who these people are? How can we take what we know of them and then turn that into either a genuine, just thoughtful, talking to camera video? How can we turn it into a little skit? How can we turn it like a sketch kind of thing? Or trying to make it funny, make it more of a parody, and just do something that stands out from, you know, the typical text DM that will just get stuck in the requested purgatory of DMs forever. And it's been really, really fun for us. Yeah.
I mean, and no matter who you are, if you sent me that message, I'd be on your podcast 100%. Yeah, like, I love that.
Yeah. That's what we're hoping for.
It's super fun
with
for us,
all the
though.
ones,
Yeah.
as they get more nuanced, and as we script them out more, we plan on like, as we kind of scale up guests more and more, we're going to like put a lot more time and effort into those, which we're really excited about. So,
and we're hoping to maybe
so
do
good.
like some kind of educational course on that as well. Like, hey, here's how we make these pitches and how we make them thoughtful and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it takes someone like you guys to show, to sort of systemize this kind of stuff, because this is the kind of stuff that I do, right?
Yeah.
But it takes you guys to like experiment and push and get creative and not do what everyone else is doing. And that's why it's so unique. It's so amazing. And that's why you guys will get the success that other people don't have.
If you could let everybody know, when is the summit, plug some of those details so everyone can hear it.
Yeah. 25th, 26th of May. PDT time or PST time, whenever, you know, that's happening with daylight savings. And it's all online, it's live. There's a VIP ticket as well if, you know, people in different time zones can't catch everything live, so they can get onto that as well. Hey, and that helps me out to run big events like this, you know. So absolutely upgrade to everything, buy everything.
What were the price points? What's the entry level ticket price?
So entry level, $7. So $7 gets you live to everything. We're going to have a clubhouse run at the same time. So it's kind of like it's like people that love to talk in class and, you know, at the back sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's workbooks. There is literally everything. $7. There's more in discount codes. Every speaker's giving away good shit. There's like, you almost like talking about investing. You almost losing money if you don't buy a ticket, which is pretty funny. And then VIP is just as good and big, but it's $47.
Amazing.
There we go. That will all be linked in the show notes and the description below. Please go check it out. Come on, Cappers. We got this one. Go to the summit. Come on now. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be bringing the energy. And I was talking to Gary Vee, and he's like, he literally said, I'm going to bring the fire to your community. Thanks for making it happen. So, you know, it's going to be good when, you know, people, not only in our industry, but other entrepreneurs are bringing the energy And it's really like what the summit is really about is like there's so many like yourselves, like videographers, photographers. We work alone. We go through ups, we go through downs. There's competition. There's people talking behind each other's backs on Facebook groups, and there's so much to navigate, right? And so this is just like a big celebration of like the people that want to come together and they want some energy. They want to reset. They want to see what's possible. They want to connect with new people. They want to network. And it's like a celebration of like how amazing the community actually is. And I think that's what it really is. And it's an outlet for me to sort of funnel my energy into like inspiring people as well. And I think that's really important.
That's beautiful, man. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I was looking at the guest lineup for the summit, and I think your wife, Lilu, is one of the speakers as well for it. What is it like being able to have like your partner in life be a phenomenally talented artist and to get to work on all these projects together?
It's insane, man. But she's more talented than me, that's for sure. She's smarter than me. She's more driven, probably. It's funny because we both grew up together. Like we've been together for it's 15 years or something now, right?
Wow.
And so we both come from a small town where nothing's possible, and we're both sort of pushing into a global platform, and we push each other so hard and we support each other. So she's like my business coach. I put everything past her, and she's my biggest supporter. She lets me do anything, man. Like, and it's crazy. Like most people, like Lily asked me this morning, she's like, Jai, how much are you spending on Facebook ads for this summit? And I was like, oh, probably $100,000. And she's like, oh, whoa, geez, that makes me feel poor of what I'm doing. And it's funny because like, we don't really care about what each other do with our money. And I think having that freedom is like, she trusts that I can, like, because she's had so much trust in me and I've been like allowed to invest in whatever I want, do whatever I want. It means like our wealth has blown up because I've been able to take massive risks and do so many incredible things. And yeah, I've got her to, it's amazing to be able to go home and have that much support all the time. And dude, I've put it through some crazy ideas. Our first cafe that we opened, we went bankrupt after that. We were living in a car. Like it was like low time. So we've been like low, we've been high. Like it's insane.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see yourself ever settling down? Do you see retirement ever happening? What is it going to be like when the wheels fall off? Like you physically can't move anymore. What? Never? It's never going to happen?
No, I think too many people think you get tired, and I think that's them kind of like projecting themselves. I've got a lot of friends. They're like, Joe, wait, you're going to get tired soon because they're my age, but I've never been tired, right? And so they're waiting for it. And I'm like, man, like I understand that you're tired and you're losing steam because you've got the same job for the last 10 years and like whatever it is. And I have empathy for you. But to be honest, like I'm not tired and I'm only getting more energy because I'm able to have more opportunities now. Like I'm be able to create more money, which means I can do more things. And I think, yeah, for me, it's there is no retirement. Like I'm not working towards anything except just like making sure every single day I'm living and then I'm proud of myself at the end of the day.
So good.
Every answer is just like this bomb of wisdom.
He just knows.
It's really wonderful.
It's clear. It's so clear that you're so well versed in thinking about these things that you can.
All I think about.
Yeah, it's very abundantly clear that you. It's just at the forefront of your brain all the time. You have like things that you know the responses to a lot of the questions that we're saying, and I'm sure over time that continues to evolve as well. But like, it's just so cool to have a discussion with someone like you, where it's just like that stuff is always being reiterated, and proving the point is that you're so well versed in the responses, and yeah, proves the fact that you are as passionate as you are.
I would love to say something on this because I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, what are you passionate about right now? And they said, let me have a think about it. And then 30 seconds went past and they're like, oh, maybe this and that. And I think it's so many of us, like if you're in an elevator right now and I ask you like, what's hyping you up? What are you passionate about? What's your life about? And if they can't answer, like they're not all the way in there. And I think it's so important. Like for me, like, or maybe they've got no clarity. They don't actually know what their dreams are. They don't actually know what their aspirations are. And for me, it's like, it's so far on the forefront that I write my goals down every day. Yeah, so you can ask me any question because I wrote it down and I think about it because I'm going after it. And this is the stuff that I live and breathe. I'm not teaching, I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so because you're doing, like, you're immersed in the subject, you're immersed in like everything that's happening. So I think out there, like, if anyone wants, big amount of success, they want whatever the crazy dream is, they want to shoot 50 weddings, they want to, shoot weddings around the world and stuff. Like, if you are not well reversed on what you want, then the world doesn't know what you want. Like, no, your customers don't know what you want. They don't know what you're about, right? So anyone can listen to any of my content. They're like, oh yeah, Jai, he's hitting unrealistic goals. Like, he'll talk about that, and he's relentless and he's a go-getter. He's an underdog, so they'll say things that, like, I said somewhere along the line, but I'm like, man, as long as I know what I'm talking about, like, then everyone knows what I'm about. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Was that just an answer to?
Because my mind immediately goes to, like, you talk about this stuff all the time, and so I just wonder, like, what it's like to be inside your brain of, like, saying a lot of the same things over and over. But I feel like there's an answer to that, in that you're like, well, the passion is there, so it doesn't bother me at all to reiterate it over.
Love
and over.
it.
Yeah.
Love
you're
it.
like, I don't care how many times I say it to
ask me some questions that no one's ever asked me.
Okay,
that's what you should be doing.
That's our next section is batting practice.
Yeah, guaranteed there are some weird questions in here that no one's ever asked you before.
Absolutely.
Steven, you want to take this one?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome to batting practice. We got some rapid fire questions for Jai. Jai, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go.
If you take too long, he's just going to skip over and go to the next one.
Yep. Okay.
Easy.
Here we go. First up,
Yes.
favorite vegan dessert.
Vegan ice cream.
All right. Will you ever rock another haircut?
Yes. Soon.
Take a hike or Netflix.
Hike.
Favorite time of day?
Morning, 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Best spot in Melbourne for a photo shoot.
Wherever you are with a camera.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, 100%.
Ear piercing or nose piercing?
Nose piercing.
Favorite place to travel to?
Probably right now, really want to go back to New York.
Australian accent or New Zealand accent?
New Zealand.
Are you real life best friends with Gary Vee now?
I like to tell myself that.
Good work. There we go. Thanks for joining us for batting practice.
I wish I could get faster at that, man. Dang.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
So hard.
It is tough.
Yeah. But you passed with flying colors. Yeah.
That was great.
That was really good.
Quick follow-up. What's your favorite vegan ice cream?
There's this small brand here in Melbourne that does sort of like a salted caramel. Actually, like you guys, you probably know, like Salt and Straw. I remember the first time I went to Salt and Straw in Portland, and it was just one shop, and the lineup was around the corner. And then I was so surprised because I was like, oh, go try this. And they had a salted caramel vegan option. And this was probably like, before it was cool, like maybe 7 years ago. And I was mind blown. I felt like I'm a fan of Salt and Straw.
Yeah.
It's
I've
really
had that
good
in
stuff.
LA. Unreal.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I mean, every time I come to the US, I literally fly myself to a town that has that. I'm like, oh, we're going to Portland. What for? Like Salt and Straw's
Like,
there.
Lilu, I'm draining the bank account.
Yeah.
Bank account gone.
that
Vegan ice cream. Wait, so haircut soon? New haircut soon?
Yeah, I want to, like, it's hard, man. Like, this is not an easy haircut. And, like, I think I'm just ready for change, and I want to feel fresh again.
Do you have a go-to person to cut it, or do you guys cut it yourself, or what?
No, I've got a go-to guy, but he's pretty good. It took me a while to find him. My real good hairdresser that first did my like fringe, he ended up selling the business, and then I tried to track him down as hard as I could. Couldn't get his number or email anyway, and I was like contacting ex-business partners and everything, and he just fell off the earth like that. I don't know what happened, but ever since then, my haircut hasn't been as good. That's all right.
Wait, so how long have you been rocking this hairstyle for then? Because I feel like I've only ever seen photos of you with like this signature look.
Probably 2 years now.
That's like 2 years. Okay, wow.
So it's not that long.
Was it longer before?
It's not that long. It was just long with no fringe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
okay.
like side part, you know. But
Wait,
you
do
know
we-
what? Like,
Got it. Okay.
I just think like too many people look the same. Like if you're, I mean, we can all be so unique. And I think too many times we're trying to fit in. And even when I got this haircut, man, people hated it because they're like, oh, it's a girl's haircut. You know, they would like label so many things. And I think like, hey, if you want to blow up your business, like it could be something as small as a haircut, but like, stop trying to fit in, like lean into your uniqueness, like allow that to come through and allow yourself to have a personal brand that people will recognize straight away. A talking point, like there's so many different things. And I think, you know, life's too short to just be the same as everybody.
Yeah. So that's everybody's incentive to go watch this on YouTube instead of just listening, just so you can get a look at that beautiful mop.
The wonderfully handsome Jai Long.
Yeah, I'm thinking I want to get it probably a bit shorter like you guys because, you know, you guys are blowing up on YouTube. See, I'm all audio, so not many people see me. So.
Well, I'm thinking now I need to do something more unique to set myself apart. So I might do like a reverse mohawk where it's like
Perfect.
shaved down,
Like
the middle, and then it's but it's like like field
That'll
goals
be
on the
memorable.
side.
That'll
It would
be
be
Memorable. Well, listen, Jai, we don't want to take more of your time. We know you have to get to shooting a wedding today. Really appreciate you coming on, man. This has just been freaking amazing. Everybody, you have to go check out everything that Jai does. All the millions of things we've listed in the show notes because of the million things that Jai does.
Yep, it's all there.
And like we said, make sure if you are on YouTube, make sure to like the video to help push it to more people so Jai can get to more people as well.
Subscribe to this channel, guys.
Oh,
Hit that
let's
bell
go.
button, click subscribe.
You're ready. You're ready for the YouTube life.
I'm ready. Hey, I've actually uploaded a couple YouTube videos now. You guys should subscribe to me. I've got 18 views. Do you reckon that's enough?
18.
It's on one video, not
yeah,
across. I'm talking one
sponsorship.
video. There's like 18
Yeah.
views on there.
That's some
That's
real
like 18
AdSense
people.
right there. Yeah, that's 18 people.
Well, when you think about it, guys, like
It's
I think
actually
too many people are
mind-blowing.
thinking, yeah, like 18 people in their houses in different parts of the world sitting there watching my video. That's pretty crazy. When you
I
think
mean,
Pretty
about
awesome.
what about, okay, so final question. What's the TikTok situation like? You doing it?
Not man. Like you know, I think you gotta play towards your strengths instead of getting FOMO all the time. And I think too many people are trying to go across too many platforms. The thing is too, like you got to understand when to let go of opportunities as well, because TikTok, like you could blow up your business so quick. And I know you guys probably have. I know so many people have. It's such a great platform. But like deep down, like for your own, you know, mental health and everything, you got to realize like, instead of just doing things for that reason, like how can you do something that like best serves you? So if you're great at audio, like maybe you should talk more and get in Clubhouse and podcasting and stuff like that. And if you're great on YouTube and you got a great haircut, like you should get 18 people to watch you, you know, around the world and like live the dream, like whatever it is. But yeah, I think like, yes, there's great opportunities on there, but for me, like I'm already too busy taking up all the other opportunities, man.
Yeah. Super wise response and a great one to close on. Yeah. Thanks again, Jai. Really appreciate it.
Hey guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me, and I really appreciate all your audience and stuff. And hey, if you ever want me back on, I'm keen as a jam about anything, anytime, anywhere. So let's make it happen.
That's our new phrase.
Go.
Keen as a jam. Is
Love
that what you
that.
said?
Keen to jam. Yep. Keen to
Keen
jam.
to jam. Oh, I
Keen to
love
jam.
that.
You can use that, coin it and put it on your podcast.
Keen to
NFT.
jam in Melbourne.
NFT. Yeah. I'll buy it.